Welcome to the fog of work. Most of us live our lives trapped by rules we didn't write. We wake up every morning to alarms we didn't choose, prepare for days we never truly designed, and follow scripts written long before we had the chance to ask whether any of it made sense. We've been told it's just how life works, that if we keep our heads down, follow the program, and perform well enough, eventually it'll all lead somewhere better. But somewhere deep down, something doesn't feel right. You go through the motions, checking the boxes, chasing the next goal, but the satisfaction never really comes. It starts as a quiet discomfort, a question you can't quite put into words, and eventually it becomes a realization that the life you're living might not be yours at all. Because you're not just following rules set by others, you are following rules you've created yourself, rules that now hold you in place. Let's break this down. Some rules are obvious. Governments make them, corporations enforce them. Family traditions, cultural norms, economic systems, they all shape our path. From an early age, we learn what's expected. Go to school, get a degree, find a job, climb the ladder, smile, show up, comply. And if you're lucky, maybe one day you will earn rest. Maybe one day you will finally feel free. But what no one tells you is that while some of these rules are external, most of the ones keeping you stuck were quietly adopted, not imposed but internalized. You've convinced yourself that they're necessary, when often they're not. You begin to follow ideas that were never truly yours, that success means always being busy, that worth is measured by salary, that taking a break is weakness, that dreams should be practical, that failure is shameful. One by one, these beliefs stack up. And suddenly, you are not just complying with the world around you, you're enforcing your own imprisonment. You've probably heard the phrase, "there is no spoon." It comes from The Matrix, a movie where people live unknowingly inside a simulated reality, believing it's the real world. In one scene, a young boy hands a spoon to Neo, a film's protagonist, and says, "Do not try to bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. There is no spoon." At first, it sounds cryptic, but what he's really saying is simple and profound. The world around you only feels fixed because you believe it is. The spoon represents every unspoken rule we never think to question. The ones that tell us how we are supposed to work, how we're supposed to live, how we're supposed to measure success. But once Neo realizes that the spoon and everything around it is a part of a program, he stops trying to force the physical world to change and begins changing the way he sees it. That shift is the entire point. The spoon doesn't bend, you do. The rules don't dissolve, you outgrow them. Now bring back that into your own life. What rules are you living by today that only exist because you've never challenged them? What habits, fears, or limitations feel real just because they've been around for a while? What if the obstacles you are facing aren't built into the world, but coded into your belief system? This is not about movies. This is about waking up. The spoon isn't real, but the freedom that comes from realizing that's as real as it gets. But here's the challenge. Comfort is persuasive. Obedience feels safe. There is something deeply reassuring about following a well-trodden path, about coloring inside the lines, about staying where it's familiar. You know what's expected. You avoid risk, you avoid judgment, you avoid the discomfort of failure. You don't have to explain yourself. You just have to keep going. But safety and freedom rarely live in the same space. The rules we obey, many of them aren't actually keeping us safe. They're keeping us small. They're keeping us hidden. They're keeping us in a version of life that may be acceptable to others, but unfulfilling to us. We've been trained to confuse stillness with security, to confuse structure with truth, to confuse routine with purpose. But if you feel empty inside that structure, it's not safety, it's stagnation. And no amount of obedience will fix that. So what do? We start by getting honest, brutally honest. We ask, which rules am I following that were never mine to begin with? Which beliefs guide my actions without question? Which goals am I chasing out of fear, not desire? The answer doesn't come from more productivity apps, better routines, or a perfect morning ritual. It comes from questioning what we have accepted as truth. You don't need a revolution, you need awareness. Because the most dangerous lies are the ones that sound like wisdom. Play it safe. Don't rock the boat. Be grateful you have a job. Now's not the time. Wait until things calm down. These sound reasonable. They sound mature. But often they are fear dressed in reason. So we have to start unlearning, letting go of the noise, turning down the voice in our heads that repeats someone else's fears. And then we need to choose. Choose to believe that change is possible. Choose to act, even if the next step is uncertain. Choose to move, even if no one else understands why. Here's what most people never tell you. Real growth always feels like vulnerability. The moment you consider change, truly consider it, your mind starts doing something predictable. It begins compiling reasons why you might fail. What if I lose money? What if people laugh? What if I'm not good enough? What if I make things worse? It's a reflex. We start identifying risks, imagining worst-case scenarios, and pointing out every possible pitfall. It's the voice of self-preservation, but it's also the voice that keeps us trapped. That mindset is clever. It doesn't shout, it rationalizes. It frames hesitation as wisdom. It says, be smart, don't rock the boat. Just wait a little longer. And just like that, a moment of potential becomes another excuse to stay still. But here's the shift. What if instead of obsessing over what could go wrong, we spend more time imagining what we could gain if it goes right? What if the possibility of a more meaningful life, more autonomy, more peace, is worth risking a little discomfort? Because discomfort is the entrance to possibility. That uneasy feeling in your chest when you try something new, that's not weakness. That's expansion. That's your life stretching. And yes, moving forward comes with risk. You might stumble. You might get criticized. You might have to rebuild things from scratch. But the alternative is staying in a world you have already outgrown. And the truth is, the pain of staying stuck eventually outweighs the fear of moving. The price of safety is stagnation. And the longer you stay there, the heavier it becomes. The only way forward is to stop asking what might go wrong and start asking what incredible things could happen if it goes right. How often do you stop yourself from stepping outside your comfort zone because of fear or doubt? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your story. Chances are someone else out there needs to hear it too. It's easy to believe the trap is external, that someone else locked the door, that the system is too big, the job market too broken, the world too far gone. But the most powerful truth is this. Even in an unfair world, you still have agency. You may not be able to change every circumstance, but you can change how you respond, how you think, how you define success, how you live your days. And once you realize that you are not just a product of the system, but a participant in it, you can begin to rewrite the terms. You can choose to set boundaries, to step outside the path, to build a life that reflects your values, not just your obligations. Because the truth is, you are never powerless. You are just following rules that told you that you were. The rules you follow are only as real as your belief in them. And belief can be changed. So today, pause, look at your life, ask yourself not what's expected, but what's possible. And if the answer scares you a little, that's probably the right place to start. You don't need permission. You need awareness and the courage to act on it. The spoon isn't real, the cage isn't locked, and the path isn't fixed. You can change direction. You can change your mind. You can change your life. And that starts when you stop accepting every rule as truth. If this message spoke to something inside you, something you've been feeling but couldn't explain, you're not alone. This is Fog of Work. Subscribe and let's keep peeling back the layers, one illusion at a time.